The package was supposed to keep me alive. Instead, it disappeared from my porch in broad daylight. 3 days later, I saw it listed on Facebook Marketplace, posted by the same woman who would find me over the color of my welcome mat. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about rules anymore. This was personal. I live in one of those neighborhoods that looks peaceful from the outside. Trim lawns, matching mailboxes, neat streets of real estate agents call quiet and well-maintained. But behind that facade was the HOA, and at its center was her. Everyone called her Karen. Not to her face, of course, but she fit the stereotype perfectly. Late 50s, clipboard in hand, walking the block like she owned it, scanning driveways for infractions instead of neighbors. I'd already had run-ins with her. Notes on my door about trash cans left out too long. Emails complaining about my car parked too close to the curb. Once she fined me $75 because a delivery truck blocked the sidewalk for 10 minutes. I tried to be polite, tried to keep my head down, because arguing with HOA officers is like yelling at a brick wall, one that issues invoices. Then my doctor ordered a specialized medical kit, a treatment package that couldn't be purchased locally, valued just under $3,000. Insurance would cover most of it, but only if it was delivered safely. If it went missing, replace it would take weeks. Weeks I couldn't afford. So I tracked the shipment like it was gold, refreshing the tracking page, waiting by the window, counting the minutes. At 2:14 p.m., the notification popped up, delivered, front porch. I opened the door 5 minutes later. Nothing. No box, no note, nothing to indicate it had ever been there. My stomach dropped, heavy and cold. I searched the porch, behind planters, down the sidewalk, hoping it might have wandered off. Still nothing. Embarrassed, I knocked on neighbors' doors. No one had seen a thing. Then I noticed Karen across the street, standing in her driveway, pen against her clipboard, watching. She didn't wave. She didn't look away. Just stared like I was a problem. Strange, but my mind was spinning too fast to dwell. I filed a missing package report with the carrier, then another with the company. They said they'd investigate. I called my doctor, who sighed in that way doctors do when they already know the answer won't be good. That night, I barely slept. Not just because of what the package meant medically, but because something felt wrong. The timing. Karen outside. The fact that this was the first package I'd ever lost in years of living there. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a notification from a local buy and sell group. I almost ignored it. Almost. Then I saw the thumbnail. A plain brown box. Opened. Contents laid out on a table I recognized instantly. White laminate. A small scratch on the corner. My heart raced before my brain caught up. I clicked the listing. Brand new medical supplies. Unused. Pickup only. Posted 8 hours earlier by Karen. Profile photo? Same one from the HOA newsletter. Same pearl necklace. Same smug smile. Same woman who had lectured me about mailbox height, like it was a federal crime. I scrolled through the photos, hand shaking, and there it was. My name, partially visible on the shipping label, enough to know. Shock morphed into anger and clarity. This wasn't a delivery error. This wasn't porch piracy. This was Karen, head of the HOA, selling my life-saving medical kit online, like it was junk. I took screenshots, listing, photos, timestamps, and I sat, staring at my screen, realizing I was about to learn just how far someone like Karen thought she could go without consequences. I didn't message her right away. I wanted to. Every instinct screamed to confront her, to call her out publicly, to demand how she could steal something that kept someone alive. But something stopped me, a colder, more careful instinct. Karen thrived on confrontation. She lived for it. If I went in angry, she would twist it, turn herself into the victim. So I watched. Over the next few hours, the listing gained traction. Comments rolled in. Is it still available? Condition? Why are you selling medical supplies? Karen responded with that same polite HOA-approved tone. It was left behind by a former resident. She was clearing clutter, a lie so casual it made my skin crawl. Then she did something that made my jaw drop. She raised the price. $3,200. more than the original value, more than she'd stolen. It wasn't just theft anymore. It was a test. How far could she push it? I knew I needed proof she couldn't explain away. Not screenshots, not assumptions. I needed her to admit it. I created a burner Facebook account. Fake name, blank profile. I messaged her, acted interested, asked basic questions. She responded immediately, friendly, helpful, even offered a discount if I could pick it up that day. When I asked where she got it, she repeated the same story. Abandoned package. No one claimed it. Better it not go to waste. I pressed harder. I mentioned legality. Medical supplies are serious business. Her response chilled me. It was clear she knew exactly what she'd done. Fine, she wrote. I'm with the HOA. I handle these things. That was it. Just one sentence. She wasn't merely stealing. She believed her title made her untouchable. While keeping her on the line, I made another call, not to the HOA, not to the delivery company, but to the Postal Inspection Service. I didn't know if it qualified, but the operator listened carefully as I explained a delivered package had vanished and was now being sold online by a known individual. When I mentioned screenshots and live messages, her tone sharpened, serious. She instructed me not to confront the seller directly, to keep the conversation active, and assured me someone would follow up. Meanwhile, Karen's behavior escalated. That afternoon, taped to my door, was an HOA violation notice. Not mailed, not emailed, taped. $200 fine. Dated that same day. Alleged unapproved porch items. Failure to maintain visual uniformity. My porch was empty. No decorations. No packages. Nothing. Retaliation. Plain and simple. She knew I was onto her or suspected, and wanted to remind me who she thought held the power. That evening, she posted in the HOA group a vague warning about falsely accusing board members and the serious consequences such behavior could bring. No names, but the message was unmistakable, a threat wrapped in bureaucratic language. I forwarded everything to the inspector, the listing, the messages, the violation notice, the HOA post. Fear shifted. This wasn't just about recovering a package. It was about how far she'd go to protect herself. Her next message arrived at 9:47 p.m. Can you pick up tomorrow morning? Cash only. At that moment, my phone rang. Blocked number. Calm voice. A postal inspector. They'd been monitoring the account. What Karen was doing wasn't just unethical. It was a federal crime. He asked if I was willing to assist with a controlled pickup. I looked at the smiling HOA profile photo on my screen, the fine still taped my door, and said yes. Karen wasn't ready for what was coming. The pickup was set for 9:30 a.m. the next day. Karen demanded her driveway, not a neutral spot, not a parking lot. She wanted territory, rules, control. The inspector instructed me not to go alone and not to reveal any changes. That night, sleep eluded me. Not fear exactly, but the tense adrenaline of an irreversible moment approaching. At 9:12, an unmarked vehicle parked down the street. Then another. Ordinary cars. No hints to tip her off. The inspector texted, "Proceed as planned." I walked to her driveway like a buyer. She was already outside, box on a folding table, smiling, chatting about the weather. She didn't recognize me at first. Almost funny. She launched into her practice pitch. The hardships of managing a community. How people left items behind. How lucky I was to find such valuable things at a discount. Then I removed my sunglasses. Her smile froze. "Oh," she whispered. "You." The inspector stepped out from behind a car. Everything unraveled. She tried to talk, explain, laugh it off as a misunderstanding. Then anger. Then fear. HOA. Authority. Words repeated like shields. None of it worked. The inspector asked simple, calm questions. Where did you get the package? Why was the shipping label partially removed? Why sell prescription medical supplies online? Why claim HOA permission? Her answers contradicted themselves within minutes. When they confirmed the package had been delivered directly to my address and never abandoned, her confidence drained. Her performance crumbled. Then she admitted the truth. She'd been taking packages for months, not just mine. She rationalized it. Residents didn't deserve them. Fines weren't enough. This was how she taught lessons. Selling items was recovering costs. In her mind, she wasn't a thief. She was enforcing order. The real twist came later. The investigation widened. Karen hadn't acted alone. She'd been quietly diverting HOA funds to cover shortages. My package wasn't special because of its value. It was special because she knew exactly what it was. She'd Googled my name, my condition. She assumed I'd panic, blame the delivery company, move on. She never expected me to check online. She never expected federal involvement. By the end of the week, she was removed from the HOA board. By month's end, charges were filed. The Facebook listing vanished. Her profile disappeared. Fines against me were voided. Every violation she'd issued that year was reviewed. My replacement medical package arrived 2 days later. Hand-delivered. Signature required. The neighborhood feels quieter now. Not because rules disappeared, but because fear did. Every time I pass my porch, I remember this. Power only works when people believe it's untouchable.